Hey, it's Tess. I just wanted to go live and try to do it a little earlier tonight. Just because then I'm done and I don't have to worry about it. And I can get it on my YouTube channel faster. I'm still kind of working out of this Oprah Winfrey book, and she has The Wheel of Life. And I think that this is kind of a good thing to talk about or to look at. So I'm kind of starting with this book, but then I'm doing some research after. And this Wheel of Life talks about things like integrity, resilience, gratitude, compassion and empathy, joy, reflection, forgiveness. And I think those are good things and important things to evaluate and look at in our lives. So I thought I would kind of use this as a starting point, and then I'll do some research after. And the one for today, the first one out of the gate, is integrity. And I think integrity is so important because it identifies, or it allows people to know that what you talk about is true. You know, your heart and your mind is in alignment, and is consistent with the message that you're sharing. And that's my professional speaking coach, Dan Clark, who, happy belated birthday, his birthday was yesterday. He always said that you have to be the same person on stage as you are in person, because the second you are not consistent, people lose the ability to trust you. And whether they trust you or not is the integrity piece of it. So I thought that was an important one. And there is a quote. I did share this quote a couple days ago, but I'll read it again because I do think it was a good quote. And I'll talk about integrity. And the information that I pulled out of here were out of like psychology, newspaper articles like Psychology Today. And it says, if you're trying to identify integrity within you, what you need to identify or to discover is your inner life. What is going on inside of you, and are you living outside what you feel inside? And I think that's like mind and body connection, and then even outside of your mind-body connection, is that who you're sharing with the world, or do you have a mask on because you don't want people to know what is actually here because you're afraid that they'll take advantage of what is the truth with what you carry inside? And it says when you're trying to discover your inner life, the things you need to think about are what are the gifts that you alone possess. And these are things I'm struggling with, and I've been reaching out to people trying to get their input. But what are the gifts you alone possess? Because what I found is sometimes what I think are my gifts are different than what somebody else thinks are my gifts. And I have shared that before. What is it that you can contribute? And I had a long talk with one of our people, Craig, yesterday, just because I'm trying to identify, am I headed in the right direction, you know? But what I'm identifying also is that I just have to keep heading in a direction and I'll find the right path. But like I mentioned before, I was supposed to go to something called The Program, and I think it was in January of 2022, and we had to fill out this questionnaire, and what are your superpowers? And I listed accounting as my superpower, and when she came back to me, they said, it's your ability to make every person think they're the most important person when you're talking to them. And I thought, well, I didn't know that. I didn't see that. So somebody saw something in me I didn't see in myself. And I think that's where it's probably important to talk things through with people, because they may see something you don't. But it also talked about this idea of discovering who you are inside that maybe you're not sharing with the world. And some of the steps for discovery are finding your purpose. And I talked about purpose a couple days ago. And what that means is that humans, we as humans, we control our lives. And we can take advantage of being able to control our lives, and we can act boldly. We can find our purpose through exploration, by being creative, by thinking differently, by looking at problems and what can we do to do things differently. Ask questions, inquire. What do people see in you that are around you? What are things that you're curious about? What do you want to learn about? What are you drawn to if you're looking at reels? What is it that draws your attention that you might be able to share something with the world? The next thing they kind of said in this whole process is one of the biggest obstacles that we face is that we get so busy running our lives that we forget to live our life. And I thought that that was a great thing, because up until the point in time when I left the W-2 world, I was running my life and forgetting to live my life. And that could actually go back 10 years when I had the bariatric surgery. I was trying to live the life I thought everybody wanted me to live. I was not happy. Things were not going well, which is probably why I got to a BMI of over 60, because I wasn't being true with who I am internally. And until I got true with who I am internally, things didn't start healing. I often say that the people I'm around now probably wouldn't like me if they'd known me 10 years ago. But it's not that I was trying to be inauthentic. I thought I had to be what people wanted me to be, and didn't understand that the best gift I could give is to be true to who I was, or what I was feeling, or who I was on the inside. And that was a hard shift to take, because I didn't believe that was enough. And I think for all of us, we have to understand that the greatest gift we can give is get our heart and our mind in alignment and share that gift with the world. Know that it's not going to be perfect, but to live our lives, living our lives, not running our lives, finding that purpose, adjusting. And that's something I've had to learn too. I can't go out of the gate with all the answers. Sometimes it's just going to be a next step towards the goal. The next thing they kind of talked about was identify your shoulds versus your wants. And that's almost like in identifying your purchases. Is it a necessity? Is it going to keep a roof over your head and food in your tummy? Or is it something that you just like a fancy sports car? And where are you at in your life? Is it time for the fancy sports car, or is it time to buckle down and buy the bicycle and a good pair of running shoes? So I think identifying your shoulds versus your wants for the place that you are in your life is also important. It says, watch for and ignore guilt and self-criticism. And I think that's really important. And I love my grandma to death, but she was a guilt trip every single time. But some of them I hear funny stories because of it. I called my grandma once when she lived up north, and I was a college student. I was living on my own, and I was struggling, and she just would not let me hang up. And then it was a family joke for like 5 years, because she laughed, because she loved to tell everybody how much that phone bill cost me, because we were on for over 88 minutes. But you know, would I do it again? Yeah, if she was here today, I would do it again, because it meant so much to her that she could giggle and send notes to everybody in the family about how much money she cost me on a phone call up north, because she lived about 6 hours from where we were at. But would I do it again? Yeah, I would, because it meant a lot to her, and it's a memory that I still share today. It says also, instead of considering your gut, consider your heart. When you're making decisions, we talk about the gut, but are you thinking about the heart? Are you getting all of these in alignment? The gut, the heart, the mind, so that what you're releasing is true to what is internally inside of you. And I thought that was a good catch, because I know about heart and mind alignment, but I also know about trusting the gut. And I'm like, wouldn't it be a triple threat if you put all three of them together and got all three of them on board in the direction that you're headed? And the next thing is, what bursts you inside with excitement? What is exciting? Keep your ear close to your heart, and what brings you excitement. And I'll say for me, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uncertainty that I'm going down the right path, but I am excited about living life differently, about being out of the W-2 world, about helping people look at their finances differently. Anyone who's been around me knows that I started following the infinite banking process 5 years ago. I was going to prove it a scam, because if I was in the insurance industry for 30 years and I didn't know about it, how in the world could it be true? And then after researching and studying and getting a policy, then getting another policy, then getting a third policy, I'm like, why doesn't everybody know about this? I really truly believe it should be a benefit in insurance companies, but there's a whole set of rules with that, why it's not. But maybe one day it will be, because I often say they probably would never have gotten me on this side if it had been offered on that side. But then we wouldn't be in the position we are right now, trying to educate the world to give them an opportunity to take back control of their financial futures. And the people I've met through this journey, and the people that I call the family of choice, it would have been a sad day if I had never met those people. So for me, this has been one of the greatest journeys, and I'm grateful that I've been on it. And I hope that through this process, I'm able to help many other people in their lives. The next thing they talk about is, what are your values and visions? Your values are, what is your vision of a good life? What is it to be a good person? So what is it that when you're called home, you'll be proud of yourself? You won't be ashamed, but you'll be proud. So what is a good person to you? Not to the person sitting next to you, not to your family, to your friends. What is it that when you are confronting God, the universe, source, your soul circle, whatever you want to call it, what is going to make you feel like you gave it your best, that you were a good person, you lived a good life, and you tried to leave a legacy of helping people as you are called back home, that you can look back on your life with pride. It says, what are your key values? The values that you discover as you evolve, because I think some of it changes, and we all grow and we evolve and we learn and we recognize other avenues. And who are you? What are you becoming? What do you want to leave behind? What do you want people to think of you when you're not standing there? You're not going to win everybody over, and that's okay, but be true to what is your heart, your mind, and your gut. If you bring them all three together, triple threat. Who's going to ever get in the way of that? But it says you want to shape your behaviors to match your principles and your values. And I think that's true, because if you are not sincere to all of this, the outside world can sense it, and it smells a mile away, and they don't believe anything you say. So if you're not releasing what you truly feel inside, people will recognize it and they'll run the other way because they won't trust you. The next thing they talk about is, oh, and I just kind of said it, outer life and inner life, they have to equal. Who you are and what you're carrying inside has to match what you're sharing outside, because if it's not, it's inauthentic, and people can recognize that. It's like Dan Clark, who I mentioned yesterday was his birthday. He said, you have to be the same person on stage that you are off the stage, because the second you're not, you will lose people, because they want to know that you are who you claim to be and that you've experienced the things that you've experienced. So that's what I'll tell you for those, and I haven't said it yet, so I'll say it now. This is my book that I released in early February. The stories I talk about, I don't go into a lot of detail, but every single one of these are things that happened to me in my life. They are truth. They're not a lot of detail of truth, but they are the truth of what happened that got me to a point where these principles are the things that have helped me to change my life, to go from a person with a BMI of over 60 to a person who left the W-2 world, is working with the infinite banking process with the desire to help as many people as possible take control of their financial futures. So the next thing, they say, stay committed to what you believe in. Be aware, be diligent, and be proud that you're trying to make a difference. And I feel so blessed to have an opportunity to reach more people from behind, leaving the behind the desk behind and reaching and talking to people in person. I love the people I've been meeting. I get so excited when somebody succeeds and lives life a little differently. It makes me so proud and so happy for them as they move forward. So that feels good to me, and it's almost something I wish I had found a lot sooner in my life. But they always tell you, you can't plant a tree. When's the best time to plant a tree 15 years ago? Well, if you can't plant a tree 15 years ago, the best thing you can do is start today. So I can't mourn what has already passed, but I can change what tomorrow is. So it's almost that one quote. You can't change the beginning, but you can change the ending. And I don't know why it probably is because it's getting to be sunset here, so I'll be fast with this. The last one is stay open to change, keeping that ear and your inner voices in connection. So since it is starting to get dark here, that or my phone's going dead, I don't know which. I'll end this with a quote on integrity, and then I'll let you guys get back to stuff. But again, I've had several people reach out to me. If you want to learn more about the infinite banking process, which is something that I got involved with 5 years ago, I have 3 policies. It's changed me to the point I left the W-2 world because I want to help other people find this process. Please send me a direct message on Facebook with your email, and I'll send you some information so that you can move forward. And I will hold your hand through it. I will tell you what I know. I'll answer all your questions, and then I can get you into a free strategy call. But reach out to me first, because I want to be there and help you and to share my story so that you have more confidence, because I would want you to know, like it, and understand it. So I'll end today with this quote on integrity. And the quote on integrity says, "Of all the values I hold dear, integrity is everything to me. I always thought it meant doing the right thing no matter what. But recently, my friend Martha Beck," and this is Oprah Winfrey's quote, "deepened my understanding of what integrity really means. It's all about alignment. In order to find the truest expression of ourselves, we must be in alignment with the truth. Everyday things that you do, telling little white lies, gossiping, not standing up for yourself, knock you off balance. When you are out of alignment or out of balance, your goals become more difficult to reach. The beauty of living with integrity means that life becomes simple. We never have to spend time or energy questioning ourselves because our beliefs and actions will be working in perfect harmony. In the coming weeks, take a moment to think about how you can live in alignment and better embody your highest integrity. So thinking about that, your gut, your heart, your mind, and the message that you release into the world, you want them to be in alignment and truthful so that as you stand, you feel proud of what you're sharing with the world. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. And again, if you want to learn more about the infinite banking process, please DM me with your email. I'll send you some information, and then you and I can talk, and I can help you with next steps if it's something you decide you want to move forward with. For me, I left the W-2 world because I believe in this. 5 years ago, I wrote my first policy, and I now currently have 3. I believe it can change things for many people, and if you want to learn more, just let me know. Thank you, and have a great night.